Hello there, Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and today I will be speaking with UFC lightweight James Vick as he is headed to UFC 217 on November 4th at Madison Square Garden to take on Joseph Duffy. So let's give James a call and find out what he's been up to since his last fight, find out how preparation is going for Joseph Duffy, and maybe his thoughts on fighting in the Big Apple. Mr.
Hello.
James Vick, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, man? I'm good.
Thank you once again for taking out the time to speak with me. Huge fight on your hands. You are headed to UFC 217 on November 4th in New York City, Madison Square Garden, taking on Irish Joe, Joseph Duffy. How are things?
Good. Just ready to go. Obviously the end of camp is done. Last hard sparring was yesterday, and from here it's just maintaining technique and cutting the weight.
Okay, awesome. And you're really on a tear as of late. You're coming off of back-to-back finishes in search of your third consecutive victory. Now, your last fight, the last time we saw you, you took on Marco Polo Reyes, and you dusted him in like just over 2.5 minutes. What do you think of the fight altogether? It was in front of a hometown, in front of a home crowd. What do you think of your performance?
I pretty much went as expected. I mean, I expected to finish the guy. I didn't really get hit. That shocked me. That I literally didn't even. I don't even remember taking one punch the whole fight. I took like maybe 2 or 3 little leg kicks, nothing serious, and it was a really good experience, best experience pretty much I've ever had, just because it was home, 30 minutes from my home, and I took no damage. Was back in the gym 2 days later, and it was just a great victory for sure.
Would you say it was a lot easier than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, well, I mean, you never expect to go in a fight and not really get hit. I mean, that was probably the easiest part of it, but. I mean, actually, even when I fought, Abel Trujillo, the fight before, I would say I probably only took maybe 8 or 10 punches the whole entire fight too, and that went all the way to the third round. So that's good. That's a good way to maintain a long career, not be taking damage like that, which is always a good thing. And I expected to win. I expected to finish within the first 2 rounds. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be the first 2 minutes and no damage like that, but I'll take it how I can get it.
Yeah, definitely an impressive performance. Do you think being so close to home had something to do with how easy the fight went?
No. Oops, I'm sorry. No, I don't think it really mattered home where it was. Shoot, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I don't think it really mattered if it was home or what. It just, I'm just a better fighter. I mean, no disrespect to Polo Reyes, but I think I beat him anywhere we fight or anytime we fight.
Okay, and are you surprised you didn't get a performance of the night bonus? I mean, that was a pretty sweet knockout, right?
Oh yeah, I was livid. I was really pissed about that. And I talked to Dana about it after, and he threw me a little bit of a bonus. He told me he was going to take care of me. It was decent, but it wasn't no 50, but it was decent,
Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. At least he looked out for you. Because, I mean, it was pretty sweet. And do you think it should have been a one-punch knockout? Because he was pretty much done once that cross landed.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give the guy a chance to recover, though. But it's like in my mind, I've been ripped out of 3 bonuses now in the UFC. I highlight reeled Abel Trujillo in my home state also. Flying knee to a Darce choke finish, didn't get a bonus there. And then my submission, my UFC debut against Ramsey Nijem, I submitted a dude in 58 seconds, didn't take a punch, didn't even throw a punch, and won. And in my mind, I've already been robbed out of 3 bonuses, which, is pretty annoying and, would really have changed my life. But, no use crying over spilled milk now, and just time to try to go get another one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hey, at least it wasn't in Australia. I remember you telling me how they took a big fat chunk of that bonus you got out there. So
yeah, for sure. If I get one this weekend or next weekend, I'm sure they're New York's going to take their good cut too.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. So after the fight, you ran through Marco Polo Reyes. You get on the microphone. You're amped up. You basically called out the UFC. You said, "Hey, I'm 7-1. Start promoting me." You're promoting guys with worse records than I have. I'm trying to get in the top 15. And here you are, Madison Square Garden, UFC 217, and you're taking on Joseph Duffy. Are you happy with the matchup?
I mean, it's not a top 15 guy. I mean, I win this fight, then what's next? Do I still have to keep fighting Joe Duffy's? I mean, Joe Duffy is basically good enough to be in the top 15 also, but he's not ranked, so it really is not helping me a lot, you know. But I mean, I understand, you know, these dudes don't want to fight me. These dudes don't want to take fights with me, and that's pretty much what it is. And I know that for a fact, you know. You know, Sean Shelby's, you know, told me a couple guys have already turned down fights with me, and then I've been trolling these guys on Twitter, just going hard at them, and half of them don't even respond. They act like they don't know who I am. I'm 7-1 in the UFC, you know, after I win this fight, I'm going to be 8-1. My record's better than most of theirs. Like that's one of the best records in the entire organization, and I'm still not. So I'm going to have an 8-1 record and not even be ranked in the top 15. That just don't make any damn sense. Now, obviously, I understand that I am in the deepest division in the UFC, but still, 8-1. I mean, that's literally one of the best records in the entire UFC. So we'll see. I mean, it's like these guys, these top guys. It's like once they get in the top 10, they're like grandfathered in. They can lose 2 or 3 times and still be in play like that. It don't make no damn sense, you know. But I lose one fight, man. My whole career's been in the UFC. I've grown up in the UFC. I only had 4 pro fights when I got on Ultimate Fighter, and I had only been pro for 8 months. So I lose one fight, and then I'm not worthy to get another top 10 opponent. When after next weekend I'm going to win 8 fights, they got to step up and fight me. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's in the lightweight division, like you said, it's really the Shark Tank. I mean, look at Tony Ferguson, the interim champion. How many fights he had to win in a row just to get a title shot? So, you know, there is some politicking going on in the UFC's, you know, ranking system, so to speak. But, you know,
for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, for sure. I mean, Tony Ferguson did all that and won all those fights to finally get an interim title shot. And Kevin Lee beats one top 10 guy and gets a title shot. And he has more losses than I have in the UFC. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
It's crazy. But you're headed to Madison Square Garden. It's pretty big, a pretty big opponent. Have you ever been to New York at all? In New York City? You ever seen the Big Apple?
I haven't, and I'm excited about it. I haven't went. I'm actually going to stay about an extra 3 days after.
Okay, awesome. Is there any like certain sites or like bucket list items that you want to check out and experience before you get out of New York?
I mean, I don't know. Just the whole city, walk around, and I'm gonna let my girlfriend pick all the activities and stuff, and I'm sure she'll already have it all picked out and planned. She's probably had it planned for months now.
Okay, fair enough. Are you gonna get in with the hot dog vendors and all, and maybe try some of that street cuisine?
And then I definitely eat some pizza. So you know, for sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, how's training camp going for this? It's a huge fight, somewhat similar styles in a way. How's camp going?
It's good. It's good. Like I said, everything's good. The hard part's done, and I'm just, you know, obviously weight cuts are never easy. You know, they suck. You know, that's just what it is. It's not just me. It's pretty much everybody. You know, but everything is good. The weight is actually way better than usual, and I'm ready to go, man. I'm excited. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
All right, now, like I'm saying, like you guys have somewhat similar styles in that you're kind of taller for the division. You like to throw your hands, and kind of like a Nate Diaz, a lot of guys end up shooting on you. Just same with Duffy. Guys end up trying to take you down. So in this particular scenario, who will be the one to shoot first?
Oh, it's going to be him. If somebody shoots, it's going to be him. Basically, they asked for this fight because they think he's a better boxer than me, and they know I'll stand with him. Well, you're right. I will. I will stand with you. Not a problem, and I'm going to win that battle. But yeah, if anybody has a game plan of trying to sneak in a takedown, it's going to end up being him.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're planning on keeping on your feet. I was going to ask, what do you feel like is your path of least resistance against Duffy?
I mean, my game plan is obvious, the same as always. I'm going to outstrike the dude. I'm going to move. I'm going to, you know, he's a good pressure fighter. You know, he keeps his hands up good. He actually, you know, it's crazy. I see all these trolls on the internet talking about, oh, well, James Vick has big holes in his defense. Duffy's going to expose him. Joe Duffy gets hit more than I do. When I saw in all his fights, he's got a good chin. Don't get me wrong, but he takes a lot of shots. You know, and I'm not going to stand in front of him like a punching bag like the rest of these jackasses. I'm going to move just like I move on everyone, and he's going to have a big problem with my movement. He's going to have a big problem with how big the cage is and how well I move in it, and you know, I'm gonna expose holes in his game.
Okay, now Before the Polo Reyes fight, I spoke with you. You said, I want him out of there in under 2 rounds without taking a bunch of damage to the body. You did just that. You got him out of there a lot sooner than you thought. But what is your official prediction for this one?
I mean, I'm not delusional. Joe Duffy's a higher caliber opponent than Polo Reyes. Once again, no disrespect to him, but he's more rounded. He's just more. I don't want to necessarily say he's probably a little bit better boxer than Polo Reyes. He's a better boxer, but he don't have the power Polo Reyes had. I mean, Polo Reyes has three knockouts in the UFC. He's a heavy hand, and I trained with Eric Del Ferro in the Ultimate Fighter was my coach, and he was Polo Reyes' coach, and he told me after the fight how heavy-handed Polo Reyes was, and I could tell, just by swinging, punches coming by, the dude is very heavy-handed. So Duffy's probably a little bit more skilled of a boxer, but he's not, he don't have the power Polo Reyes has, and I don't know. Prediction, I mean, I plan on finishing him. I plan on finishing him within the distance, within the 3 rounds. So we'll see how it goes. But that's always the plan is to try to get the finish.
Okay, now this is a pretty decent fight for both of you guys. A lot on the line. You're both trying to crack that top 15. It seems to be one of the ways to get ahead in the organization is to rock the mic, pick your opponent, call out your shots. You think that's what you're going to do? You're going to get on the mic? What does the future hold for James Vick?
Oh, I already got big plans for the mic after. I got big plans for that. I can't really disclose it. But, I mean, honestly, basically, I'm just going to say with the truth. Well, I mean, who do y'all want me to fight? Because I've called them all out. I mean, what do you want me to get on the mic and say, oh, I want to fight Dustin Poirier. I want to fight Justin Gaethje. I want to fight Eddie Alvarez. I've already called all these trolls. I've been trolling them all on Twitter for months now. And they won't even respond to me. I've called out Evan Dunham. I trolled that guy so hard. He wouldn't even acknowledge me until it got to a point, and then he's like, acting like he was too good and too high up to fight me when his last opponent was a UFC debut guy before this recent fight, But yeah, and then he was scheduled to fight Abel Trujillo, who's not ranked, who's obviously in his mind a higher caliber opponent than me. I go smoke Abel Trujillo on a 2-week notice opponent change, and then all of a sudden Abel's good enough, but I'm not good enough. So I've called out over the last few months. I've called out Gaethje. I've called out Anthony Pettis. I've called out Dustin Poirier. I've called out Eddie Alvarez. I've called out Evan Dunham. These trolls won't even answer. They won't even reply. They act like they don't know who the fuck I am. They know who the fuck I am. They know exactly who I am. I mean, honestly, I guess I could get in there and say a direct name, but I'm pretty much just going to say that. I've called all these clowns out. None of them want to fight. They're scared of me. The only way I'm getting ranked is if the UFC just decides I've won enough fights and rank me. And then maybe one of them will take a chance to fight me. Because the UFC did rank me for like a week. They ranked me at number 15 for like a week. And then Justin Gaethje and Anthony Pettis won. And then they moved me out of the ranking and put them in. Which Gaethje, that's cool, understandable. He beat the number 6 ranked guy. But Pettis beat a 40-year-old Jim Miller. And you ranked the dude. Basically just because he was a former world champion. That's the only reason. And then I called him out and he wouldn't even reply. They act like they don't know who the fuck. And they know exactly who I am. I see every one of these guys when I see them at events and stuff. They look at me like, how the fuck does this dude make the weight class? They look at it. I can just see the fucking fear in their eyes. They're like, goddamn, why? I'm at the point in my career. I'm high risk, low reward at this point. That's why, to me, it's all these clowns want to say promote yourself, do this and that. In my mind, my push does have to come from the UFC. I have to get a promotional push more, and they did. I can't complain, too much anymore because they've flown me out to events. They let me do International Fight Week. They let me do Oklahoma guest appearance. They're doing their part slowly to help me out, so I can't really complain. But it's going to be hard to get these top guys to take a fight with me. It's ridiculous. They don't want to fight because they know most likely they're going to lose. And then, God forbid, they beat me. My name ain't a value yet, so it's a lose-lose for them. So the only thing that's going to happen is the UFC is going to have to see me winning that many fights and rank me, or someone's going to have to take a chance, or they're just going to have to really give me a promotional push.
Yeah, you keep winning the way you're winning. There's no way anyone's going to be able to doubt you, to deny you. Those guys up in the top 15, top 10 they're gonna have to respond, eventually. Now, UFC 217, the main event. It's you know, it's interesting. We got GSP returning, taking on the middleweight champion, or the official middleweight champion, Bisping. What are your thoughts? You got a dog in that race at all?
I don't know, man. I guess I guess I'll probably have to go with Bisbee just because GSP is a little smaller. I mean, obviously, I think GSP is going to be able to take Bisbee down a couple times. I do that. Do think that, but 4 years is a long time off. If George St. Pierre comes back and wins a division up, now granted, Michael Bisping's not known as a heavy-handed guy, so GSP can move, and fight. Obviously, he's one of the best fighters of all time. But if he comes back after 4-year layup and wins that fight, then I'll be super impressed.
Yeah, that would be amazing, definitely amazing. But you're the head's going with Bisping on this one.
Probably, if I have to bet my money, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you got any sponsors or people you want to give a shout out to right now?
Just my management group, KO Reps, and then everyone follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, James Vick MMA.
Awesome. Well, James Vick, thank you so much for taking out the time. You are headed to Madison Square Garden for UFC 217. Joseph Duffy is in your crosshairs. Best of luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So there you have it. UFC lightweight James Vick headed to Madison Square Garden on November 4th. He will be taking on Joseph Duffy at UFC 217. Go check that out. In the meantime, you can read me over at bloodyelbow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Mercado. If you like this interview, you can subscribe to my channel right here. You can subscribe to Bloody Elbow's YouTube channel right there. Check out these interviews over here. Now go be a good person.